But here's a stock I'm really struggling to see that I want to own right now. It's called Lucid Motors. And it seems to me to be something of a stock that is hanging over from the days not so very long ago where all you needed was a picture of an electric car and you did very, very well. Now, Lucid Motors has an awful lot more than a picture of an electric car. It has an electric car and it looks like a hell of a good electric car for what it's worth. From what I've seen of it, I'm not a massive car guy, but I would very much like to own one. It's got a 520-mile range. They've got an SUV coming in 2024, which also looks like a very, very nice thing. No problems with the product here, from what I can tell of it. I do worry about the the price, the stock, and the business underneath it a little bit, though. So we're looking at a forward price to sales, which ought to be a kind of hopeful number here, but it's a forward price to sales of around 23 times. And that is quite a lot for, I think, any stock at any time. And I don't think this is a great time to be paying that for that either, because we're still looking at things like supply chain issues, especially around semiconductors and costs of materials, lithium, all that kind of thing that goes into it. It's a battery-powered sedan that they kind of have, I think. But I'm expecting inflation to be difficult here for them. I'm expecting sales to struggle as they struggle to get hold of parts, especially chips. There's an obvious point that we've been talking about a little bit lately, which is that these things are not cheap. And it may be that doesn't matter to their client base. It might be that their kind of backlog is big enough to kind of work its way through this, and the rate they're producing them isn't enough to keep up with demand anyway. But I'm not so sure about that. They have a market cap of about twice Twilio. It's a 31 billion, with capacity for producing about 34,000 cars a year. Margins on these, I think, when they're kind of fully profitable, if you look across the rest of the automakers, and they arguably don't have the scale of the other automakers, might be somewhere around 10-15%. So you're looking at about $1 billion in earnings at best after 5 years from now. To me, that's just ridiculously high. Even if this goes nowhere, that's still a price earnings of 30. And I'm not sure that's going to fly with this market, and I don't think I'm not particularly calling the stock to come down, and I'll tell you why in a moment, but I don't like that as a business proposition for what it's worth. I also am concerned that they have about 5 billion in cash, I think, and are burning that at a rate of about a quarter of that every quarter. So in a year's time, I was asking Steve about the issue of running out of cash at Twilio, which doesn't look like an issue. It looks to me like it might be one here. They are burning through cash at a hell of a rate.
Yeah, this is a cash-intensive kind of business, isn't it? You're going to need those factories set up. You need the robotics. You need the manpower. You need the technology. All of these things don't come cheap, and it's quite easy to see when Buffett held up that list of cars companies that have all gone bust since then. There was I think it was just Fs, weren't they, or something like that? It was an abstract letter, was it?
Just the MAs, I think.
Was it? Yeah. So, I think this is quite easy to see how these kind of companies go bust, and those costs have risen exponentially. It looks like a great car. It would be a shame, but I just think in terms of where you put your money at the moment, I'm not so sure this is the best place.
A lot of very nice cars that I'd like to drive around don't make for very good businesses. There's an example from the UK that we've heard talked about several times now, which is Aston Martin. Would I like an Aston Martin? Yes, very much. Would I like to buy one? I'd like to be able to buy one, and if I had enough money, I wouldn't say no. But would I like to own this stock? Not even slightly. That is bankruptcy story after bankruptcy story from what I can tell of it. And I'm not necessarily calling that on Lucid Motors, because it does have a massive backing from Saudi Arabia. And there is always a chance that a majority shareholder, I think a lot of their orders actually are going out to Saudi Arabia. There is always a chance when you have a massive shareholder that they come in and do something and save the project and keep it going because, well, frankly, they can. But I certainly wouldn't put my money into this on the investment side and expect that to happen, because even if that does happen, there's going to be vast amounts of dilution coming through.
Yeah, agree.
That's about all I got on this. If anyone does own Lucid and you've got better reasons for owning it than I have and I'm missing them, then do let me know. I hope this goes up for what it's worth. I don't know anyone that owns it, but I would like anyone in it to do pretty well, right? Why does it matter to me what the stock price does of something I don't own? So I'd like to see it go well. But I can't see my way into thinking that this is going to be a great business.